All right, we'll jump straight to our second guest then. One of the original punk rockers, the leader of the legendary Dead Kennedys. In 1979, he seared his way into the American consciousness with this rather elaborate prank.
One of the most unusual candidates to emerge in American politics recently is a punk rock star, Jello Biafra, who ran for the office of mayor of San Francisco. When the votes were counted, this punk rock star, Jello Biafra, had come in a close third and had nearly been elected mayor of one of the greatest cities in America. Encouraged by the wide support, his next campaign might well be for the presidency of the United States.
He's here on slightly more serious but equally subversive business, touring the country, lecturing about the conservative conspiracy to crush free speech. Please welcome Jello Biafra. Jello, come on, come on. Oh, sorry. We lose more guests that way.
Maybe that's why John Bon Jovi didn't show up.
Yeah, maybe he got killed by the door. I don't know.
But look at it this way: with all the endless marketing of ordering the old stars through the mail, reminiscing about the good old days, blah, blah, blah. Even now they found a way to just not have a cheap TV commercial, an ongoing news documentary prime time commercial to order the Beatles box set, and you fell for it. But you probably could every year, if you're in luck, if they could just get the FBI to cough up all those tapes they made when they tapped John Lennon's phone.
Wow, the FBI tapes of the Beatles.
Oh, yeah, because then they could just, Paul, I'm sure, would see nothing wrong with it when he counted the money, just putting a little musical backing to it, and you'd have endless new Beatles, quote-unquote, songs till the next millennium.
Yeah, but half of them is going to be Yoko. They're not going to sell. They really aren't, Jello.
No, they would edit that out.
Oh, I see, right.
With the computer, you can edit just about anything now, as you well know.
I know. In fact, that comment of yours is just gone. I'm sorry about that. That campaign that you ran for the mayor of San Francisco, one of your platforms was that between 9 and 5 in the main street of San Francisco, every businessman must wear a clown suit. How was that received?
It seems to be the one the mainstream media picked up on. Maybe the only one they remember. I don't know.
It's the one we like.
Well, there were a lot of good ideas, though. I thought it was very practical to have police officers stand for election in the districts they patrol, keeping in mind how violent police officers are in America. You've seen the video of Rodney King.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles police did that to fans of my band as well on more than one occasion. And that wouldn't happen if people got to vote on who their cops were. I thought that was very practical. And even the clown suits was actually in reply to Dianne Feinstein, who was the incumbent mayor who was reelected and is now in the United States Senate as a lobbyist for Indonesia for all practical purposes. Anyway, she said she wanted to clean up San Francisco, and she meant the other end of Market Street. I thought, no, the stuff where the dirty stuff goes on is Chevron headquarters, Bank of America headquarters, and that's where I thought they should wear the clown suits.
Well, it would be a very nice look. You actually are considered by the moral majority as a threat to American society. What is it about them that scares you?
Basically that they're not very tolerant people. They're fundamentalist Christians. I have nothing wrong with people believing in God or having spiritual values, but when one group has a very narrow interpretation of the Bible or the Quran or whatever and decides they should force it on everybody else by bending the law, by harassing people through violence, and through censorship, I figure it's time to object.
Well, let's talk about censorship. Last year, for some reason, Mickey Mouse cartoons were taken off air. Why was that?
I never heard about that, and I'm not sure I believe it.
Oh, well, okay, well...
you aren't thinking of Mighty Mouse,
Mighty Mouse, sorry. Oh, no, I wish Mickey Mouse had been taken off.
Okay,
Mighty
this
Mouse,
is a perfect example of how the religious right operates. Okay, there was an episode of Mighty Mouse. Was that shown in Australia?
Oh,
Mighty
yeah,
Mouse?
absolutely,
Okay, so you know who Mighty Mouse is. Okay. Mighty Mouse sniffed a bouquet of flowers, the petals broke off, and went up his nose.
Right.
Reverend Donald Wildman, a long-time and very well-funded right-wing extremist activist who's tied in with a lot of right-wing senators and Republican presidents and things, sent out a mailing to people about this show, and somebody had put me on his mailing list as a prank, so I actually got to read this thing. Dear friends, CBS has declared war on our children. That was the first sentence. Very subtle, this Donald Wildman. He has a way with words, even if he does have no chin. But anyway, and no tolerance either. Basically what he said was, Mighty Mouse, by sniffing these flower petals, was promoting cocaine use to young children on the air. And because Wildman has so many people on his mailing list who then fill out the pre-printed postcard to all the companies that bought ads on Mighty Mouse saying they're going to boycott them, and to the network that they did that. Also, Wildman was talking about blacklisting Ralph Bakshi, who drew that episode and did Lord of the Rings and Fritz the Cat earlier, and therefore was a devil-worshipping pornographer who'd snuck onto network TV. I mean, funny as this sounds, these people are taken seriously in America, not just by people who start boycotts enough to intimidate a network into pulling Mighty Mouse off the air, but they are able to get people to vote them into power, slowly but surely. And they always start by bashing music, library books, you name it.
Now, you're touring Australia, discussing all these things. What relevance does this have to Australians?
Oh, it has it in a very big way. One of the first ways the extreme right-wing religious groups try to get their foot in the door, claiming they're protecting children, saving families, is to bash music, especially if it's made by black people. Let's go back a little earlier to Brisbane. Queensland, a few years ago, there was a bust of Rocking Horse Records, where the police, acting on a complaint from an extreme fundamentalist Christian minister, confiscated records by Sonic Youth, myself, or actually by Dead Kennedys, and even an instrumental album by the Champs, a 1950s instrumental combo with Glenn Campbell and Jimmy Seals of Seals and Crofts in it.
It had Glenn Campbell on it. Well, that's fair enough.
Because it had a song titled The Shag, and there were no words in the song. It was an instrumental. And then the preacher would go on and on about how this homosexuality, this, Satan, that. And it was just a bigot who was able to get the police to do what he wanted. And they even claimed they were acting on a complaint funneled back down to them by a, what do you call it, state legislatures? Parliaments?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, it was well, whatever. A member of this gang of idiots had ordered the cops to do this at the request of this fundamentalist preacher who knew what strings to pull. And now it seems to be happening again. I got a fax of an article from a paper in South Australia dated November 4th, I think, and it talked about the Australian Recording Industry Association wanted to have a mandatory label, which I call a tipper sticker, named after Tipper Gore, noted anti-music bigot in the United States, probably saying something to the effect of explicit lyrics, parental advisory, and whatnot. But anyway, what they wanted to do was not only require member labels to put this on a so-called obscene records, and obviously they're not going to say Glenn Campbell or Men at Work are obscene. They're going to say something more interesting is obscene. Anyway, but they were going much further than these people in America do. They wanted to set up a hotline so people could call up the ARIA and report obscene records, which is just inviting these crackpot fundamentalists to call up the ARIA from some little town in Queensland and decide what everybody else in Australia gets to buy in the record store. And they went even further to say that if the offending label was found guilty of non-tipper stickering an album, they'd be kicked out of the ARIA, who would then report them to the police. I mean, here we have a cartel of major recording labels in cahoots with the cops and probably with the fundamentalists. And what is their motive? I would say for the ARIA, it's to wipe out independent underground music that doesn't knuckle under to the ARIA.
Okay, in 10 words or less, because we're out of time.
Already?
Yeah, that's it. This is television.
The worst form of censorship today is the whole story never getting out because TV is so dumbed down and short.
What you have to understand is there are other people who are going to talk too. You can't stop other people talking by talking for the whole show. You can't stop their freedom of speech. Yes, you did. You want to talk for the whole hour. Wait, I'm going to let you get your own bloody show if you want to talk for a whole hour.
I have my own bloody show. It's later on in the month. In Sydney, it's at the Enmore, and I don't know where the other places are. But anyway.
You're going around Australia with the band Everything tour?
No, it's me. This time spoken word performance, which is kind of a catch-all term that other people like Henry Rollins and Exene and John Doe from X have both done, Dave Alvin and many more. Anyway, it's a catch-all term where you can read poetry, you can harp on censorship or whatever, you can, it can be theater, it can be just all or none of the above. Infotainment, in my case.
Okay. Infotainment, that's an interesting thought. We must try it here in Australia sometime. Jello, it's been a pleasure. I'm sorry we have to cut you off, but you know that's how it is on commercial TV.
That's what I said before.
Go buy something. Thanks.